Welcome to Fitzy's Fabulous Scrapbooks. I'm Michelle Fitzgerald, aka Fitzy, and I'm an independent advisor for Creative Memories Scrapbooking, and I'm here to help you make your scrapbooks fabulous. And today we are going to do part 2 to finding out what your border making style is. So I did this once before, and I believe I used vitamin C and serene waters. So today I'm going to show you some happy hauntings. I got the name right, I think, this time. And golden harvest. All right. So let me get down to my workspace here. And we'll start. Ooh, what's underneath the cardstock? Ooh, are you curious? Are you feeling a little batty? Sorry, I like a good pun. All right. So the last time I did this, I introduced you to 4 friends of mine. And a friend of mine reminded me that I introduced everybody to these 4 friends. So I'm going to reintroduce you. I just dropped my multi-purpose tool, so let me grab that. Okay. So I'm going to introduce you again to my 4 friends. So my first friend here is Plain Jane. All right. So this is a very pretty Halloween border. Now, I used Happy Hauntings, and Plain Jane just wants to keep things simple and pretty basic. And I think that's what you get with this border. So everything's pretty straight edged. There's nothing fancy, but it's got a nice little title piece. And I'm going to show you how to make this kind of groovy shape here too. That's like one of the skills that I think will be a fun one to learn today. So I'm going to put that down for now. So that is Plain Jane. Now I'm going to pick up the title because the title will remain the same as we go along. So let me just go over here. So this is Pretty Polly. So it's really the same basic idea as Plain Jane. But Polly likes to have things just a tad bit more decorative. So we used a decorative edge. So all of Polly's edges here have a nice little decorative feature. Okay. But other than that, she's pretty similar to Plain Jane. Nothing's too different with Polly. All right. So we're going to move over here. And we're going to go to, are you ready to meet Decorative Darla? All right, so here is Decorative Darla. Oops, and let me get our little title piece so you can see how this all works out. So now, as you see, we're building on each border as we go, all right? So we have the decorative edges again. And this time what we did is we added, I used a border punch to create this. Oh, I should probably get a piece of white paper just so it shows up better. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. That's better. All right. It's funny when you look at it in person, it looks great, but then when you see on camera, it doesn't show up unless you put a nice light color behind it. All right. So I used the cobweb border punch. And I put a little sticker strip here because you got to have spiders if you have cobwebs, right? It just makes sense. So this is Decorative Darla. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this down. And let's bring out my favorite, Never Enough Nellie. Look at that. Is that cool? I absolutely love this border. So there's a lot going on here. I used a cobweb on both sides of the border, not just one. And then I gave a little shadow effect to this groovy shape that I have going here. All right, so I'm going to show you how to create that groovy shape and show you how to get your border to fit snugly between your two border punches without wasting a whole ton of paper. Okay. I put my little bats here too, because I figured they'll be right by where I put my border. Now, the title rather. Now, the funny thing is too, I could always turn this and use it as a horizontal border as well. And I can do that with all 4 versions, okay? And even with my little bats flying around, they still work really well with the little title piece that I have here, okay? So I just wanted to point that out, but is that fun? All right, so now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this groovy little shape that I came up with. So I'm sure I'm not the first person to create this little shape here, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And the reason I came up with this, it's kind of funny. At work, I was creating food signs for a 60th birthday party, and their theme was the 60s decade. And so I Googled 60s wallpaper patterns. And this was kind of the feel I got, the shape, not the color so much, but the shaping. And I thought, ooh, that would work. It would work really well with Halloween, right? But then I started playing around and I'm like, well, gee, this works really nicely with Golden Harvest too. So let me pull this out. And some of it I already have done by the magic of YouTube, just so the video won't be an hour long. And then we'll create one together. All right. So here's my Golden Harvest plain Jane. All right. So the same elements are there, right? We have our little groovy element going here. We have our base. We have our little contrast piece. And then we have our 2 groovy shapes. One's obviously a lot wider than the other one. And I feel like this piece here is the statement piece. It's that beautiful leafy pattern. It's one of my favorite papers in this pack, actually. And then I just created a nice little title feature, and that works really well. All right. So I'm just trying to make sure you can see the whole thing. So that is plain Jane. And then over here, here's my pretty Polly. And again, the only thing that changed between Polly and Jane are the decorative edges on Polly. She always likes a decorative edge. Polly's pretty simple, but decorative. All right, so that is pretty Polly in Golden Harvest. Now, decorative Darla is going to look like this. All right. Now I used the dollop arch border punch here. And, you know, I'm just going to give, I wonder if this light would make it a little better. Let's see. Oh, that's a little brighter. Okay. So I used the dollop arch border punch. Okay. And I'm just going to put this here. Now I want to point out, so the title is here. Now on decorative Darla for Happy Hauntings, if you see, oops, let me find her. Oh, she's on the other side. Hold on. Oh, maybe she's not. What did I do with her? Oh, she's underneath. Silly me. Okay. Now, when I was creating, I just want to point out on decorative Darla for Happy Hauntings, I did have my little border strip sticker of spiders, and the spiders really work well with this border, right? So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer to use them. I just want to make sure you all can see these. All right. So look how cute the spiders, you have cobwebs. So of course you want to have some spiders to kind of bring out the feel of the cobwebs, right? But I could not determine a border that I liked enough here that wouldn't take away from the beauty of the simplicity of this border. So I wanted to just leave that alone, but I wanted to point that out to you as well. All right. So, and I think that was a good decision because when I look at that, I just think that's an elegant looking border, right? Very pretty. So what we're going to do now is create Never Enough Nellie in front of everybody here. I'm going to put these off to the side and show you how I created everything that I made. All right. So let me we don't need the stickers just yet. So if you're playing along, you're going to want your dollop arch punch. If you're doing what I'm doing, you're going to need your decorative trimmer and you'll need your straight trimmer as well. And the decorative blade that I used was the Victorian blade. All right. I'm going to hold that up so you can see. I thought that worked really well for the happy hauntings. And then I just decided, well, I'm going to use it for this one too. And it actually worked beautifully for that. So, all right. So the first thing, and I've already done a little cutting, just the basic stuff, so we're not wasting too much time. But my base border here is the brown, and that's a 3-inch wide border by 12 inches long. And I used my decorative blade. So when you use your decorative blade, you're going to actually put your straight edge in. And I always put it to the second cut line and then cut with my decorative blade. So then I automatically have my decorative edge here. Okay. And then I can move this way and cut at the 3-inch mark with my decorative blade. So I did that for my base piece. And then my little contrasting piece here is actually 2 3/4 inches. And that's just going to nestle in just like that. Let me get my tape runner. Oh, you do need your tape runner if you're playing along. So after I finish this video, my husband and I are going to go apple picking. We're very excited. And now I'm going to have some really nice borders to use for my apple picking pictures. And I think with Golden Harvest, these will make really nice borders for Thanksgiving pages too. So they're pretty versatile. Okay. So here's my first piece. Now, I'm going to go back to Never Enough Nellie from our haunted one, just so you can see what we're trying to get at here. Now, this piece here, it's a darker orange. And I used that just kind of as a shadowing piece. And I think what it did is it just gives a lot of dimension to the border. So I'm using this green as my little piece here. So I did already cut it out, but I am going to show you how to do this, just so you have the technique down. All right. So you're going to take your decorative trimmer. And I'm using the scallop. Let me just put this in camera view, the scallop blade. All right. So I'm going to lift this little bar up. Now I've made markings on my decorative trimmer. If you haven't, you might find that it's helpful. And so I am just going to put the straight edge to the line right above the tip of this hill, the tallest hill. I'm going to call these little hills or bumps. All right. So I'm just going to line that up. And then I'm going to give it a little cut. Now, one thing I want you to know before you do any of this cutting, whatever side of your paper you want showing on your border, that should be facing up at you when you're cutting. Okay, so make sure, like, this is the piece, this is the color I want to show for this particular piece that I'm cutting. I don't want this to show for this piece. I want the green. So the green is facing up at me as I'm cutting. So I just cut this little piece here off of the green, and now I'm going to turn the green so it's facing to the left. It was facing to the right. Now it's facing to the left. And I'm going to open up that bar again. And this time I'm going to put the top of my little hills or bumps, whatever you want to call them. And I'm going to put them to the top of, I have this line marked. It's 2 lines before the 4-inch mark, or it's right where the ruler pops out. Let's see if I can see how the ruler pops out. So it's right at the edge there. So once I have that lined up, and I don't really need the ruler out, so I'm just going to put that back. Then I'm going to cut. All right. So here is my piece here. And then, so I can put this piece to the side because I'm done with that. And then I'm going to cut the piece that goes in front of the green. So on this one, the orange, the deep, deep orange was in the back and the purple was on top. So now I'm going to take my real light orange, and I had already cut the edge off of this side. So I'd already had a straight edge here, and I had cut that straight edge off to get these little bumps. So now I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to have these bumps facing to the left. And I'm going to line it up to, hold on one second. I just want to see, because I think this might be, oh, okay. So I'm lining this up at the 3.5-inch mark. Now the part that I'm lining up, just to be clear, is the top of the bump. So even though this little piece here is lower, the top of the bump is going to be on that 3.5-inch line. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, so yep, it's going to be a little bit lower here, but this black line here is the 3.5-inch line. And see how I have the bump, the top of the bump lined up to that. And I'm going to do that with all my bumps, make sure they're lined up right at that line. And once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. All right. And now, if I leave it like this, see how it does the same exact thing. So I could do that and it looks cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Or what I can do is take the bottom layer and flip it upside down. Oh, and it's still doing this. Hold on. I think I might have cut it wrong. Oh, I did. All right. So hold on. We're going to go back and do that green again. I know what I did too. So I lied. Everything that you cut on this, the piece that you want to see, the color you want to see, should be face up, except for the shadow piece, because we reverse it. I forgot about that step, so I apologize. All right, so there's my straight edge. And now I'm going to put it on the decorative trimmer with this side facing up, even though this is not the side I want to see. All right, so I'm first going to give it a little cut, and the size here. So I'm lining up here to get the straight edge cut at the 1.5-inch mark. So when I'm just lining up my straight edge, just to get that decorative effect, I'm lining up at 1.5 inches, and I'm doing the opposite just for this piece. I'm putting the side that I don't want to see facing me when I cut. And now I'm going to turn this to the left. So what I just cut is now facing to the left. It was facing to the right. All right. And then I'm lining it up right at the edge of where that ruler starts. And just take your time. You want the tops of the bumps all lined up. Right? Okay, let's see how this goes. Here we go. See? Doesn't that give such a cool effect? It's like I don't know, like a shadowing, but it almost looks like a braid too, right? It's pretty neat. I don't know. I just really like that look. All right. So I'm going to put this piece to the side because we're done with that. And let me tack these down. We're getting closer to being done. So it's a tricky technique, but once you know what you're doing, it's not that hard, like anything, right? If you know the correct steps, it's not that bad. And I'm just tacking that down. And I'm going to do my pretty, I love this shade from orange. It's like a peachy kind of color with little orange undertones. All right. And I just love it. Just gives it a lot of dimension, doesn't it? It's kind of like shadowing. I don't know. I just love that. All right. So we're done with this piece. So we're going to put that to the side. And now we're going to come to our statement piece. So this you want facing up at you. And we're going to go and trim our little straight edge at that 1.5 inch mark. And you know, it's funny, see how I made that mistake and it was so fixable, right? So never be too nervous about it. It's just paper. Now, for this one, I'm doing a really thin, we're doing this piece here. Okay, so this is a really thin one. So I have this marked off at the 2.5 inch mark. All right. So from the little cut line here, this line right here is the 2.5 inch mark. So that's what I'm going to line the little bumps up on. All right. And now what I love about this is how it just nestles in to all these little bumps here, right? Very cool. So I'm going to put this aside. And we don't need the decorative trimmer anymore, so you can put that to the side. I'm going to put this out of the way. And let me just tack this on. And it's good to start at the top of your border or your page when you're putting something on that goes the length of the page. So that way, if it's a little short or if it's a little too long, it's all at the bottom. And when people look at your page, basically, their eye is more drawn to the top of your page than it is to the bottom. So they're less likely to know to notice anything is wrong. I like that because I know I make plenty of mistakes. All right, so here is where we're at right now. So pretty, right? Now I'm going to come to my little ball of arch here, and I'm using, I think this is just orange shimmer. And I'm going to make one side of this border. Let me just get everything out of the way here. And we're almost done, which is pretty neat. Now, I know personally, I am a never enough Nellie. I don't know what all of you are, but feel free to put it in the comments if you want. I love hearing from all of you, by the way. It was fun last week. So many people commented. It's just fun to get to know everybody. And I know there's a few of you that are on every week, I think. And I love chatting with you while the video airs. So thanks for doing that. That's fun. All right. So I'm just going to move all of this to the side. Now, my goal with this, I want you to look here. See how this border is just nestled in between the two here really nicely, right? It just looks so cool. So what you're going to do, and this will help you with any border punch you have, because more than likely you don't have every punch I have. You don't have the exact same one, but you might have a different one. The key on this is make sure it's a punch that stays attached to your paper, okay? And then what you're going to do is measure from the tip of the actual punch, all right? And just go to the straight edge. And when I did that with the dollop arch, it's 3/4 of an inch. So I know my base here is 3 inches wide. So I'm going to cut this at, I'm going to do 4.5 inches. So I'm going to take my paper, cut one edge, and hopefully I'm right. If not, we'll have to go back and experiment. That's all there is to it, right? So I'm going to put my edge here to the 4.5 inch mark. Okay, so I'm putting the tips of my little dollop arch on that 4.5 inch mark line, and then I'm going to cut. Right, and then I'm going to go back to my border punch and cut this side. And fingers crossed that I did it right. If not, do it again. That's all you can do, right? But nothing to stress over. This is the fun stuff. There's plenty of other things in life to stress out over. So scrapping shouldn't be one of them. Scrapping should be fun and happy, right? All right. So now my little border looks like this. And let's see if I can nestle in. Look at there. How cool is that? All right, so I'm going to tack this down. Oh, it's perfect. I love it. I'm just trying to get it straight. So, all right. So here we are. Okay. And then what I could do, here's my title piece now, so I can put that here. Let me just tack that down. And then maybe we could put a couple little flowers. And there it is. So here are my two. Ooh, let me find my title. Hold on. here it is. My 2 Never Enough Nellies. So what I love is it's pretty much the same concept, just done with different papers and collections or punches. And they're both beautiful, aren't they? I think they are. I love them. I just think these are so fun to create. So I hope you have fun trying these out too. So I'm going to put them all out for you to see again, because I know sometimes you like to do that. Let me get my, so these 2, and where did my plain Jane go? And Polly, did they leave me? Oh goodness. Oh, they're underneath. You guys could probably see that the whole time, but I couldn't. All right, so let me just bring these up. And just remember that these look a little plainer because I don't have the title on it, because I put the title over with Never Enough Nellie, because she doesn't like to wait. We'll do this, just so you get a little fix. All right, so here we go. We have our plain Jane for Happy Huntings and for Golden Harvest. We have, you know what, I'm gonna move these as we talk. All right, so there's our plain Janes. And then here are the pretty Pollys. All right, and then here are our, oops, move these over a little bit. Okay, and these are our decorative Darlas. And then last and certainly not least, our negative Nellies. And Nellie's really not that negative. I hope she doesn't get a bad rap. She just likes to have a lot of stuff. She likes pretty things, right? All right, so that's it for my borders today. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's helpful to you. And I'm just going to come back up here. Oops, let me just see. Here we go. Oh, there I am. I just want to give everyone a quick reminder. I do have a contest going on because I have gotten over 500 subscribers. So if you are a subscriber and you have not subscribed incognito, I can actually see your name. Then you automatically go into a drawing. Okay. Now, if you comment on this video or last week's video, those are the only 2 that I'm going to look at, then I will also put you into a different drawing. Okay. And then if you share my YouTube channel or any of my videos with a friend and they subscribe and they put your name in the comments, letting me know that you had them subscribe or that you shared my videos with them, you and your friend will go into another drawing. And if you have 5 friends that you share this with and they all subscribe and put your name in the comments, you'll go in 5 times and they'll all go in the drawing as well. All right. Now, if you place a $50 or more order on my website, this is not for advisors. This is not for advisors from who are under other advisors. It's not for advisors under home office. I think I goofed up last week and said if you were under home office, it was okay. But really, you should be ordering off of your own website if you are an advisor, right? But if you're not an advisor and you're just a client or somebody who's looking for scrapbooking products, please feel free to place an order on my website. And anybody who places a $50 order on the website will be put into a special drawing. And this is all good through October 30th. Well, I guess we'd have to say October 29th, because on October 30th, in that video, I'm going to be telling you who the winners are. Exciting. And then the last thing is, if you join up, sign on under me. Maybe you think this is fun and you'd like to give it a whirl. First of all, reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. It's not for everyone, but people love it. So you may love it. I love it. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. It never hurts to ask a few questions and then make a decision. So that is up to you. But anyone who does sign up under me during this time period, I will put you into a drawing as well. So we're going to have 5 different drawings for 5 different prizes. Ooh, exciting, isn't it? All right, so all of my information will be in the description for this video. I do have a Facebook group that I run with 2 of my team members. It's FRQ Glitz Girls. You could probably see it on my workspace while I was showing you the borders. So feel free to join that group. You do need to answer the questions, though. I've had a few people asked to join, but they answered one question, didn't agree to the rules or whatever. I have to have you answer all the questions. So if you haven't been allowed in and you're wondering why, go back and look and make sure you answered those questions and agreed to the rules, and then we'll let you in. That's all. Nothing personal. We just figure what's right for one is right for all, right? Okay. And if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at fitzy'sfabulousscrapbooks@gmail.com. And my website is www.creativememories.com/user/Michelle Fitz. All of this information will be in the description of this video. And that's all I have. I am now going to go apple picking. Woohoo! It's a beautiful day here, a little crisp. I'm not a cold weather kind of girl, so it's a little cooler than I like. However, it's a beautiful sunny day. I'll take it. All right. So I hope all of you have a fabulous week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.